This is Module 2, GSP 1202-2202, Use of Library, Study Skills and ICT. This Module 2 will deal with information resources and services, organization and retrievals in library, where the 5 laws of libraries were clearly stated. The first law states that documents are for use. The second law, every user his book. The third law, every book its user. The fourth law, save the time of the user. The fifth law, libraries are growing organisms. So therefore, libraries are meant to be used constantly. All the documents available should be made easily access to the users so as to utilize and have access to new knowledge and information. Module 2, Information Resources, Classification in Libraries and Cataloging in Libraries. So this module will be divided into 3 sections, where the first sections will deal with information resources. The student will be able to know all the information resources available in the library based on the various formats in which they appear, as well as how this information are being classified in the library and cataloged so that users will get easy access to them. So the course GSP 1202-2202, Use of Library, Study Skills and ICT. This module will deal with the use of library aspect of the GSP course. This course, the facilitator is Fatima Usman Salihu. The course use of library will avail students the opportunity to know, among others, the various information resources available for research, pen paper works, assignments, projects, etc. Also, students will be able to know the varieties of library and information resources, any type of library, know the various sections of the library, as well as how to locate these materials or resources without the help of a librarian or a library staff. Be familiar with the various information retrieval tools, have the techniques and skills to information retrieval, know how to apply varieties of such techniques when searching information, know the rules and regulations governing the library, know how these information resources are being organized or arranged in the library so as to have easy access and retrieval, know the part of the books and their importance to academic achievement, as well as to stand the opportunity to do study work in the library, etc., etc. Introduction. Library can be described as a place where libraries, as you all know, houses different information resources ranging. These information resources is the medium or format where an individual or organization got information from. This can be a book or a website. So information resources are the various means by which organization information is recorded for use by an individual or an organization. It is the means by which a person is informed about something or knowledge is available to someone, a group of people or an organization. So information resources can be observations made by people, can even be the people themselves, or speeches made, or documents you see, or pictures. At times, they can even be the organization itself as a source of information. So information sources can be in print, non-print, and electronic format. Information sources or library collections may include books on different subjects like periodicals, which these periodicals are magazines, journals, newspapers, which are usually published within a particular interval. That is why we call them periodicals. We also have the manuscript, we have reference materials, which are the encyclopedias, dictionary, maps, gazetteers, indexes, and abstracts. We also have other audio books, microfilms, CD-rooms, videotapes, e-books, databases like the Agora, the Agile, the Escahot, the Hinari, and so on. We have varieties of these databases which are sources of information. Basically, there are 2 types of information resources, mainly the print information resources and the electronic information resources. The print information resources could be in print format, and these include all printed books, periodicals, maps, bibliographies, indexes, and abstract, photographs, government documents, technical reports, etc. Books are the most commonly type of printed information resources because they are in print format, you can see them physically, you can touch them. That's why we say print. They are printed. It's something you can see, touch, open pages by pages, and read them through. The other type, which is the electronic information resources, could be in electronic format, and this include audio, videos, multimedia format, example of audio information is the music recorded on CDs, on books, on audios or video tapes. Video information include VCR tapes and TV shows, movies, and documentaries. Other examples are information on CD-ROMs, DVDs, flash drives, and web documents, etc. Electronic resources, which are usually known as e-resources, are materials in digital formats and are only accessible electronically. You can access such information only when you have electronic gadgets to support them. Example of e-resources are electronic journals, which appear online electronically. We have electronic books, which are the e-books. We have online databases in varying digital formats like the Adobe, the Acrobat documents, that is documents on PDF. We have the web pages, document on HTML, document on .html, document on .asp, etc. and other more. We have a lot of electronic information sources which usually appear on electronic version. Here is a summary of example of information resources in the library, which categorically we have two types of information resources, which are the print information resources and electronic information resources. As earlier mentioned, books are the main type of print information materials. This entails the textbooks we see on different subject matters. We also have others like periodicals, which are also another class of print information resources. These periodicals usually are publications made within a specific intervals of a month, a day, or whatsoever, or even a year. Examples are magazines, we have journals, we have newspapers, we have manuscripts and other special collections like the government publication and so on. We also have other reference materials as example of print information materials, which include the encyclopedias, the dictionaries, maps, gazettes, index, and abstracts. These reference materials are categories of information resources that usually you access them when you need a specific information. They are not meant to be read from cover to cover or page to page. You only consult them when you need a specific information from there. Like the encyclopedia, the dictionary, you can never read dictionary from page to page. It's only when you need a meaning of a word, similarities of words, synonyms, antonyms, and whatsoever that you may consult dictionary. So these are resources that you only consult when you need a specific information. Other type of print information resources are the research and technical reports. We have government documents. We have conference proceedings, tests, dissertations, and projects made by students after their academic years. We have at the end of their academic years. We also have bibliographies, monographs. All these are examples of print information resources, almanacs, handbooks, and manuals. The other type of information resources, which is in the electronic format, these are resources that appear in electronic format like the e-books, the e-periodicals, microfilm, microfiche. These are information resources that need the support of other electronic gadgets to be able to access information from them. We have the database, the Agora, Agile, the Escohots, the Hinari, and whatsoever. We also have waves and internet resources. We have the video recordings, the television programs that we see on TVs. We also have the audio recordings, the radio programs we listen in various radio stations like the Freedom Radio Express, Wazobia. All these programs we hear on air are example of electronic information because they are audio materials that they are usually appeal to hearing. So that is why we say these electronic information resources can come in three formats, whether those who are audio visual having pictures and sound at the same time, or those having only visual side that you can only see them as pictures, or maybe audio that you can only listen with the ear. So we have three categories of this electronic. They can either be audio visual or audio visual. They have three different components. We also have other types of electronic information at the communications through social networks applications like Facebook, the blog, the RSS, the YouTube, etc. All these are examples of electronic information resources. Other artifacts like coins, plants, basements, all these are examples of, because these are something that you can see with your eyes. They are visual resources. works of art, architectures, literature, and music, maybe paintings and whatsoever. All these are example of electronic because they are either appeal to the ear, appeal to the eye, or maybe appeal to both eye and ear. That is why we call them audio visual, depending on the nature or the format in which they appear. Therefore, all these information resources, either print or electronics, provided in libraries, they have to be organized so as to make easy access to them. So the main purpose of libraries, particularly those situated in university campuses, is to collect a large quantity of scholarly materials from different time and period and or diverse topics to make teaching, learning, and research easier for members of the community they serve, that is the staff and the student. Therefore, librarians select books, magazines, journals, databases, and even websites for use by their patrons. This selection process enables the library to collect information resources considered to be reliable, relevant, and valuable for the academic pursuance of the library community. So information resource organization is done in libraries through the following method: either classification, and that is through classification and cataloging, where this information will be classified as well as cataloged so as to allow easy access to them by users at any point in time. In addition, information resources are organized by title, author, and subject, thus making them easy to find. So anytime a user have a title in mind, the author or subject, you can easily get access to this information. Each items of each item of information resources resources has a call number that indicates where it is located on the stack or on the shelf. It is a kind of identification number given to each individual collection in the library, so that when you come to the library with that, you can be easy to get access to your information materials. So library have collections with in-depth information that has been published over time, both current and out of print books and magazines, which are stocked in the library, most of which are in print format. So the basic type of information sources you find in libraries are the print information material. And with the advent of electronic age, some of these are now accessible through digital library collections on the webs. Library have trained staff to collect to uh, has trained staff called librarians who serve as a bridge between users and information resources. They are there to assist in sorting through the maze of information in their library collections. So librarians answer reference questions and also help patrons to learn how to use new information tools. Therefore, if you need help when accessing any information resources, what you have to do is only to contact the librarian who is there to assist always in the library. The classification scheme, as earlier mentioned, which is a form in which these informations are organized in the library, is done through a classification system. This classification is the art of grouping things based on shared similarities. The concept of classification is universal, as everything in life can be classified according to its characteristics. For example, the clothes in our wardrobe can be classified according to types such as gowns, skirts, blazers, and so on. So classification can therefore be described as the action of recognizing and establishing group of classes of subjects, the subclasses and members of which all manifest, even though in different ways, a particular characteristics or a set of characteristics. The reason for classifications in library are to aid information retrieval through systematic arrangement, provide subject analysis of a document, highlight relationship between classes and subclasses, e.g. education and adult education, bring latest subjects into proximity, and bring users in contact with specific information or specific book. The classification system and schemes are therefore systematic plans used for the arrangement of library materials. Most library classification systems provide a scheme for the classification of information materials. Classification scheme maps out fields of knowledge in ways that are suitable for library use by grouping related items into classes and arranging such groups in a hierarchy so that users can trace topic in their context and scan subject field from general to specific. Library classification is a system of knowledge organization by which library resources are arranged according to subject. Library classifications use a notational system that represents the order of topics in the classification schemes and allow items to be sorted in that order. So library classification scheme group related materials together, typically arranged in a hierarchical tree structure from general to specific. Library classification numbers can be considered identifiers for sources, but are distinct from the International Standard Book Number, that is the ISBN when they are books, or International Standard Serial Numbers when the materials are serial publications, that is the ISSN. Types of classification scheme. There are several types of classification system used in libraries all over the world. The choice of this classification scheme in library is, however, highly dependent on the ability of the classification scheme to accommodate the discipline offered by the users of a specific library. We have the special classification scheme, which are meant for organizing special collections. In some cases, libraries dealing with specialized collections such as medical information resources may want a classification scheme that best accommodate or classify medical information, and as such may prefer the use of National Library of Medicine NLA classification scheme, which is developed specifically to accommodate medical collections. The Oxford Decimal Classification ODC, used mainly in forestry research institution, is another example of a special classification scheme used for to classify special collections in the library. Also, the National Classification Scheme is another type of classification scheme. Some library classification schemes are developed for use only within a particular country. An example is the Swedish library classification used in National and Research Library in Sweden. This is a scheme developed by the country. That is why it's called a national classification scheme, only to classify documents in that particular country. We also have the general classification scheme, which is a scheme said to be general when it covers all body of knowledge. These are classification schemes that can be used in the collection of any library subject. We have the Dewey Decimal Classification and Library of Congress Classification Scheme, which are the most popular type of general classification scheme used all over the world. In terms of functionality, classification schemes are often described as enumerative or faceted. The enumerative classification schemes are so called because they attempt to list all the single and composite subject concepts, terms for aspects such as place, period, and form appears repeatedly throughout the schedule, making the scheme bulky, e.g. Library of Congress classification scheme. We have the faceted classification on the other hand, which lists number for only single concept, thereby allowing the cataloger or user of the scheme to construct or add numbers to make up composite subject concept, thereby making the scheme less bulky, which is the column classification scheme. Example of classification scheme, we have the Dewey Decimal Classification, which is known as DDC. The Dewey Decimal Classification is a general classification scheme that is continuously revised to keep pace with knowledge. The system was conceived by Melvin Dewey in 1873 and first published in 1876. According to the Online Computer Library Center OCLC 2003, the DDC is the most widely used classification scheme in the world, as it is currently being used in more than 135 countries all over the world to organize and provide access to their collections. The features of the DDC is that the whole body of knowledge is divided into 10 main classes, that is 0 to 9. Each main class can further be subdivided into division and section. For example, 600 being applied science, 630 being agriculture, 632 plant injuries, where the 6 for the main class, 3 for division, and 2 for section. It uses only Arabic number as notation. It is therefore said to have a pure notation because only numbers are used as the class marks for this particular classification scheme. This decimal or point following the third digit in a class number, after which division by tens continues to the specific degree of classification needed. The dot is not a decimal point in the mathematical sense, but a psychological pause to break the monotony of numerical digits and to ease the transcription and copying of class number. It has num- mnemonic devices and it can easily be remembered, e.g. religion has 200. It shows hierarchy and network of relationship using military science as an example. Military science as 355, military life and custom as 355.1, promotion and demotion as 355.112. It is com it is compact as it comes in 4 volumes. We have volume 1, which is the introduction, which will tell users how to use the scheme. We have volume 2 and 3, which is usually the schedule, and volume 4 is the index. The schedule is usually arranged alphabetically so that it will guide you to the main class. When you have the subject in mind, you will directly go through to schedule to see the number in which that subject belongs. The 10 main classes of DDC on which knowledge is divided using the Dewey Decimal Classification scheme is called the first summary. The first summary, we have 0 general work, 100 we have philosophy and psychology, 200 religion, 300 social sciences, 400 languages, 500 sciences, 600 technology, 7 art and recreation, 8 literature. Then we have history and geography. So these are the main classes or main subjects in which knowledge are being divided or classified based on the Dewey Decimal Classification scheme. Basically, they are 10 from 0 to 9, given each which this 0 stand as a general class. Others are the philosophy, religion, social sciences, languages, and whatsoever. This is the main classes in which Dewey Decimal Classification try to divide knowledge or classify knowledge when it comes to arrangement of books in the library. Each main class is further divided into 10 divisions representing a part of the discipline. This forms the 100 division known as the second summary, where the 0 is generalities, O10 we have bibliographies, O20 library and information science, O30 encyclopedia and books of facts, O40 unassigned, so it may be any knowledge. 05 can be magazine, journals and serials. 060 association, organization and museums. 070 new medium, journalism and publishing. 08 we have quotation. 090 manuscript and rare books. Under the 100, which is one side philosophy, we have 110 we have the metaphysics, 120 epistemology, 130 parapsychology and occultism, we have 140 physiological schools of thought, we have 150 psychology, 160 logic, 170 ethics, 180 ancient, medieval, and Eastern philosophy. We also have 119 the modern and Western philosophies, which 200 is the religion. Under the religion, we have 210, which is physiology and theory of religion. We have 220 the Bible, 230 Christianity and Christian theology, 240 Christian practice and observance, 250 Christian pastoral practice and religion order, 260 Christian organization, social work and worship, 27 history of Christianity, 280 Christian dominations, 290 others religions. So Christianity has been given more priority because those who produce the scheme are Christian. So they only give one class, subclass to other religions. So other religion will fall in 290. We also have 300, which is the social science, sociology, and anthropology. Under it, 310, we have the statistics. 320, we have political science. 330, economics. 340, law. 350, public administration and military science. 360, we have the social problem and social services. 370, education. 380, commerce, communication, and transport. 360, custom, ethicals, and folklore, depending. The 400, which is the other class, also fall into language. 400 is in the main class is language. Under it, we have 410 linguistics. We have 420 English and Old English language, 430 German and related language, 440 French and related language, 450 Italian, Romanian and related language,
460 Spanish and Portuguese language, 470 Latin and Italic language, 480 classical and modern Greek language, 490 other religion. We also have 500 class of sciences, 510 stand for mathematics, 520 astronomy, 530 we have the physics, 540 chemistry, 550 earth science and geology, 560 fossil and prehistoric life, 570 lab science and biology, 580 plants which are botany, 519 animal which are zoology. Under the class 600 which is technology, we have system as medicine and health, 620 engineering, 630 agriculture, 640 home and family management, 650 management of public relations, 660 chemical engineering, 670 manufacturing, 680 manufacture for specific uses, 690 building and construction. Also the class 700 which is art, we have landscaping and area planning as 710. We have 720 as architecture, 730 sculptures, ceramics and metal workshop. We have 740 as drawing and decorative art, 750 as painting, 760 graphic art, 770 photographs and computer art, 780 music, 790 sport games and entertainment. All these fall under class of 700, that is art. Class 800, which is literature. We have the 810 American literature in English, 820 English and Old English literature, 830 German and related literature, 840 French and related literature, 850 Italian, Romance and related literature, 860 Spanish and Portugal literature, it's in Latin and Italic literature, 880 classical and modern Greek literature, 890 other literatures. Under 900, which is geography and history, we have 910 as geography and travel, 920 as biography and geology, 930 history of ancient world, we have 940 history of Europe, we have 950 history of Asia, 960 history of Africa, 970 history of Northern America, 980 history of South America, then 990 history of other areas in the world. So under this, the country are given more. The other type of classification after the DDC classification scheme is the Library of Congress classification scheme. Library of Congress classification scheme, which is known as the LCC, is a system of library classification developed by the Library of Congress. It is used by most research and academic libraries in the US and other countries. Library of Congress classification schemes assign call numbers to library resources using letters and numbers to sort books into subject area, but each title does have its own unique call number for systematic cataloging and shelving. So Library of Congress classification, the classification was originally developed by Herbert Putnam in 1897, just before he assumed the librarianship of Congress. With advice from Charles Army Carter, it was influenced by Carter expensive numbers and the DDC and was specifically designed for the special purpose of the Library of Congress. Over the course of the 20th century, the system was adapted for use by other libraries as well, especially large academic libraries in the United States. It is currently one of the most widely used library classification systems in the world today. The features of the Library of Congress classification scheme is that it comes in 47, that is one, but one as at 2012. So separate separately published schedules. The notation is mixed. It uses single capital letters for main classes, Q for sciences, double capital letter for subclasses, that is mathematics. It also uses Arabic numbers for further subdivision. It does not have a general index, rather there is a detailed index in each schedule. It has provision for the further knowledge by leaving out I, O, W, X, Y so that it can accommodate new knowledge that comes. The LCC does not have a single table, but rather provide tables in each schedule. It covers the body of knowledge, the non-knowledge relationship among topics in LLC are shown not by the number that are assigned to them, but by indenting subtopic under the larger topics that they are a part of, much like an outline. So it comes in an outline format. So A as the general work, we have B to BG as philosophy and psychology, BL to BX on religion, C auxiliary science of history, D history general and old world, the Eastern Hemisphere. We have the E to F as history, American Western Hemisphere. We have the G geography, map, anthropology, recreation. We have H to HJ as social science, economics, HM to HX as social science, sociology. We have J as political science, K as law general, KD as law of United Kingdom and Ireland, KE as law of Canada, KF as law of United States, L education, M music, N fine art, P to PA, general philosophy and linguistics, general classical languages and literature. We have PA supplements. These are the modern Greek literature, the medieval and the modern Latin literature. We also have PV, PH, which are the modern European languages, PG, the Russian literature, PJPM, languages and literature of Asia, Africa, Ocean and American, Indian languages and dialects. We also have the PMP, RPSPZ as general literature, English and American literature, fictions in English and juvenile verse letter. We also have the PQ Part 1, which is the French literature, PQ Part 2 as the Indian, Spanish, and Portuguese literature. We have PT Part 1 as the German literature, PT Part 2 and the Dutch and Scandinavian literature. We have Q for sciences, R for medicine, S for agriculture, T for technology, U for military sciences, B for naval sciences, then Z for bibliography, sciences. Some of the classes above can be broken down into various disciplines, e.g. Q sciences, Q pure sciences, QA mathematics, QB astronomy, QC physics, QD chemistry, QE geology, QH natural science, QK botany, QL zoology, QM human anatomy, QP physiology, QR microbiology. These are all subdivision of a class. Other classification scheme are the column classification, which is known as the CC. This column classification is a system of classification developed by S.R. Raghunathan. It was first published in 1933. Also have the Universal Decimal Classification (UDC), which was developed in 1885 by Belgian bibliographer Paul Otlet and Helen Lafontaine. It is structured in such a way that new development and new field of knowledge can be readily incorporated in the scheme. We also have the Bliss bibliographic classification, which this is a faceted classification scheme which was developed by Henry B. Bliss. The scheme was first published in 4 volumes in the United States before 1940 and 1953. We have the Morse classification. Morse classification scheme was developed by Elizabeth Betty M. Morse in 1968. The scheme provides a system for organizing legal material and as such is used mainly in law libraries. So these are schemes used by law for law collections. The other aspect of information organization is information retrieval. These information resources are arranged in some sort of order in the library. Resources are organized using a specific type of classification scheme to collect materials in a given subject together or to arrange material together of like time, that is materials of the same subject. With the library, there's a retrieval technique called a catalog, which directs library patrons to the information resources available in the library and how to access and retrieve such materials with ease using author, title, or subject catalog, depending. Library catalog is a register of all bibliographic items found in the library, arranged alphabetically by author, title, subject, and class mark depending. The catalog is very important in a library whenever its collection is growing too large. Regardless of the type of user, the primary purpose of libraries or information centers is to assist in the transfer of information and development of knowledge. In the information world, every individual must learn and have the tool needed to deal with the information age. The most important of the retrieval tools of a library information center collection is the catalog. A catalog is a list of materials such as book, microphones, audio recordings, etc. in a collection. It records, describe, and locate each item present in the collection. So we can say catalog are lists of holdings of a library, list of all what the library has in their collection, so that when users come, whether having the author, subject, or title in mind, you can easily know where to locate them on the shelf because the books are well described, giving you all the biographic information they contain, as well as giving you access point to where you can get that information on shelves. A catalog helps to locate items and bring similar identifiers together. It records sources of a library or information centers under the author, title, and subject of form headings. It is the key and pointer to the library collection, and it contains entry representing each material in the library because of the functions it performs. Library catalog facilitates findings of a desired item and enlighten the user about related items by displaying in one place all items that share a common characteristic. The common characteristics could be title, author, or subject. The goal of a catalog is not only to permit persons to find terms that they already know exist in the collection, but to also help them find items of which or they were not aware exist in the collection. In summary, the catalog is simply a record of what the library has. It helps the library users to identify what the library has, where to find it, and how to locate it on the shelf. Function of a library catalog is to enable user to find out whether the library has a specific book, to enhance access to the library collections, to enable a person find or locate a book of which either the author, title, or subject is known or unknown, to show what the library has by a given author on a given subject in a given kind of literature, to assist in the choice of books as to its edition and other bibliographic details, to enable a user to know whether or not certain books are in the library, to enable a user know all the works of a given author held in the library, to show at a glance the number of copies the library has on a title, and to give information on author, title, subject, imprint, collection, collation, location, etc. of any information which are available in the library. Forms of library catalog. The common or popularly known and used catalog in most libraries consists of the following. We have the book catalog, usually a form in the of book. We have the card catalog that appear on the card, usually arranged in a in a cabinet whereby they are put on a tray. You see each entry separately on a card. We have the dictionary catalog, which comes like a dictionary in the form of books. You can maybe dictionary catalog is a catalog usually arranged based alphabetically based on the title of the catalog. We have the computer output microphone catalog, the online public asset catalog, which are all in an electronic form. And we have the shelf list catalog. We also have the automated catalog, which are all which this automated is also an electronic form of a catalog. The book catalog, as the name implies, book catalog is a kind of catalog that is printed in a book from which either entries are arranged in a vertical order by author, title, subject, or a combination of all like a dictionary arranged word. They are arranged alphabetically like how words are arranged alphabetically. Catalog this is mostly found in libraries worldwide and it was common form of catalog. It is a catalog in which entries are made on 7.5 cm times 12.5, that is 3 to 5 inches card. These cards are then filed in alphabetical order by author, title, subject, and call numbers in the drawers of the catalog cabinet to provide access to the library collections. Dictionary catalog is a form of catalog that contains entries under the author, title, subject, and all of them interfiled in a single sequence, usually in alphabetical order. Now, catalog is popular in public libraries and it presents the least amount of difficulty for general or casual readers. Classified catalog is a form of card catalog that is arranged by subject according to classification scheme in use by the library. It is arranged according to the class mark assigned to each book in the library using the class number of a book. That is why we call them classified catalog. We also have the divided catalog. It's a form of card catalog. Entries are arranged in alphabetical sequence with author, title, and subject entries in a separate file, usually refers to as three-way divided catalogs. We have the computer output microforms catalog, ComCAT. This is a form of library catalogs in which the bibliographic record is printed in machine readable formats such as microfilm, microfiche, and microcard. It is produced on this medium by a computer, hence the name computer output microphone. They are called microphones because they cannot be viewed with the naked eye. Only with the use of the microphone reader that you can access such information. We have the online public asset catalog known as the OPAC. This is an electronic form of card catalog. As computer technology advances and the prices of computer hardware and software decreases, more libraries are converting their catalogs to online public access catalog. Also, we have the shelf list catalog. This is actually a kind of library catalog, but because of its uniqueness and the role it plays in the library, it is worth discussing here. This is a kind of catalog that is arranged according to the class mark. Usually, you see it near the shelves in the library. It's just like a list of all what contains on the shelves. Just that's why we call them shelf list catalog. In conclusion, the questions why study the use of library is like asking why does library exist? The same way library exists to support the parent organizations, the university, in achieving its objective. As the same way, the study of the use of library will help students, researchers, and other library users to overcome the barriers and discouragement to information access and use to achieve their academic pursuit. Hence, the quality of education depends on the use made of the library and its resources. Students are faced with challenges of information need in diverse ways for a couple of reasons. First, mass production of information, also known as information explosion. Second, students are faced with challenges of information need that is or needs in diverse ways. Sometimes assignments are being given, they want to conduct research for recreational purpose, project and team papers among others. So students got difficult with the use of a phone. With this knowledge, you'll be able to know how to get access easily to this information. Third is that library is the largest and complicated piece of educational equipment that students and non-students encounter, and many are discouraged in its complexity, and in most cases, they are frustrated. So with this guide, use of library, students can know how to get access to this information in the library easily. Therefore, it is pertinent to know the routines and practice involved in library service to avoid frustration and discouragement.